Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, another boxing prospect review. We're going to be talking about Mr. PBK, that stands for Pretty Boy Kelly. That's Josh Kelly, if you don't know. Josh Kelly, 5-0, 4 KOs from the UK. Another one of those British prospects. They have a lot of prospects that people have high hopes for. I've already done videos on Anthony Yard, Lawrence Okoli. But out of all the British prospects, I don't think there's greater hope for any of them than this guy right here that we're going to talk about, in Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly, thus far in his career, even though he's fought, for lack of a better word, he's fought a bunch of nobodies because like most fighters do early in their careers. He's fought a lot of guys losing records, but he's looked sensational doing it. Like there's been times where he's had moments where he looks like Roy Jones Jr. And I'm not even saying that to exaggerate. There was literally a fight where he fought one guy from I think he was from Wales or something like that. He fought one guy from Wales and he hit him with like six straight like left hooks. Like it looked like Roy Jones. But aside from that, aside from how good he's looked against overmatched opposition, what I'll say about Josh Kelly is this. He has a lot of things in his skill set you just can't teach. He has reflexes. He has athletic ability. He has, thus far, he's shown good command of distance with his jab. Good fundamentals, but he has his own style as well. And that's the thing of boxing. Some of the best fighters of all time were guys who had the technical, by the book, amateur skills along with their own styles. Guys I'm talking about would be like Roy Jones, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, guys like that. So he has a lot of that in his game. Very slick, very elusive, but he also has power. He can crack. He definitely has enough power that if he hits you, he can buzz you and he can hurt you. And the speed and the combinations, he's just a fun fighter to watch. He's one of them guys, you just watch him, and once you see him, you want to see more of him. And I know I'm not the only person that can attest to that. I know that when I asked people about doing a prospect video, that this was one of the most this right here was one of the most like mentioned people that people wanted me to be talking about, was Josh Kelly. So Josh Kelly, he's in a very stacked division. He's in a division where, at age 23, being from Sunderland in the UK, he's probably about a good 2 or 3 years away. You would be led to believe, depending on how fast Eddie Hearn decides to move him. I think he's signed with Eddie Hearn, right? He's Eddie Hearn fighter. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Eddie Hearn is matchroom fighter. So yeah, like depending on how quick they decide to move him, we're looking at maybe if he doesn't have any losses on his record, even if he does have a loss on his record, depending on who it's to, we're looking at maybe 2 or 3 years from him getting a world title shot. And I think Josh Kelly is in a very good position. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you look at UK fighters in general right now, UK fighters all across the board, they either A, have very hyped up prospects, or B, have guys who are world champions. But when you look at the welterweights, there's a big void for the UK welterweights. Kell Brook isn't going to be he's not a welterweight anymore. Amir Khan's pretty much semi-retired. So there really isn't like anybody that, as far as in the welterweight division, which is one of the most stacked divisions in boxing, there really isn't anybody for the UK fans to get behind. And a couple of years down the line, Josh Kelly could be that guy. He could be someone who, with his style, with how he fights, with the type of highlights that he can produce in the ring, that can transcend. Like Josh Kelly is one of them guys where you'll watch one of his fights and he'll do stuff that ends up on WorldStar.com the next day, and he has this sort of skill set that can transcend just boxing fans. So he's a guy that I'm looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, potentially could be a cash cow of the division. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say that right now. Just because of his style, because of who he has, Eddie Hearn behind him, the best promoter in boxing. He's got, just the UK fan base. So he's going to be in a good position, but it's up to him to win. And overall, as a fighter, I would like to see him get hit a lot less. I think he does the Roy Jones Jr. thing where he drops his hands and he relies on his reflexes to slip punches, which is good. I mean, only a handful of guys can do that, and if you can do it, do it. But there's going to come up time one day where he's going to have to dig a little deeper and not do that as often. And I'm just wondering, like on the way up to where he should be as a fighter, like will that cost him? I don't think it will, because I just think he's too talented. He's not too talented, but he's talented enough to get away with that stuff. There's only a handful of guys, so he has a lot of attributes that I like in fighters. He has deep amateur pedigree. He has good fundamentals. He has the know-all to basically just like mix what he knew in the amateurs, but then put his own little like style with it along with that, and now you have a skill set, and he became Josh Pretty Boy Kelly. So um, overall, I think the potential for him in boxing, as far as what he can achieve, uh, he can be a world champion for sure. That's no doubt about it. I think he, out of all these prospects I've talked about that are actually prospects in my prospect playlist, he's the second guy that I will say will be a world champion one day, and I can say that with confidence. I think the world of his skill set. I think the welterweight division, by the time he gets to the top level, will be probably a little more thinned out, because by the time he gets to the top level, we're looking at like Pacquiao being gone, Crawford probably at 154, just all those guys, man. So Josh Kelly, I think he's in a really good position, man. I think if you haven't watched him fight, you should go watch him fight, because if you're not, you're missing out on some pretty spectacular highlights. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when he makes that first real step up, and when he first gets hit and tested and hurt, and let's see how he responds to that, because anybody can look good against bums or overmatched opposition. But it's when you get hit, when you get tested, that we really find out about a fighter. Can you behave like a fighter? Who are you? Who are you really? What's the character behind the name and the padded record? Like, who are you really? So we'll see what happens, man. But I think he'll be a world champion one day, and eventually could be the cash cow of the division. That's just a prediction on my end, just seeing the landscape of the division and where he is going moving forward. But that's my opinion on Josh Kelly, my little review on him. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about Josh Pretty Boy Kelly. What do you guys think about him? What do you think he'll do in his career? I think he'll go far. Yeah, leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. Follow True School Sports on Instagram at True School Sports. And like I say in every video, my name is Brendan Taylor, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.